Psychopathic killers, they walk among us, invisible to the untrained eye, lurking in the shadows of normalcy. Welcome to the unsettling world of psychopathic killers. These chilling individuals are not like the monsters you see in horror films. They don't lurk in the dark. They don't have fangs or claws. Instead, they walk among us, perfectly camouflaged in the fabric of society. They could be your neighbor, your coworker, or even someone you consider a friend. Psychopathy, a complex personality disorder characterized by a lack of empathy, remorse, and manipulative behavior, is often misunderstood. Not all psychopaths are killers, but those who are, they're a different breed entirely. They are living paradoxes, presenting a charming exterior while housing a dark, predatory nature within. What makes psychopaths so chilling is their uncanny ability to blend into society. They are often charming, charismatic, and intelligent. They have learned to mimic normal human emotions, to wear a mask of sanity that belies the cold emptiness within. They understand societal norms, they just choose not to adhere to them. Psychopaths are not born, they are made. A cocktail of genetic predisposition and environmental factors shape and mold them. They are sculpted by a world that they perceive differently from the rest of us. And it's this different perception that allows them to commit heinous acts without a shred of guilt or remorse. These individuals operate in a realm beyond the reach of normal human understanding. They are enigmas, their minds a labyrinth of twisted thoughts and dark desires. Understanding them is not about justifying their actions, but about learning to recognize the signs, to better protect ourselves and our loved ones. Unveiling the minds of psychopathic killers is no easy task. It's like venturing into a dense forest with no map, no compass. And yet, it's a journey we must undertake. For to understand the darkness is to better appreciate the light. Unraveling the mysteries of the psychopathic mind, we venture into the abyss of their chilling world. Charismatic, charming, and cunning, the allure of the psychopathic killer is paradoxically disturbing. Imagine the allure of an individual who can command a room, effortlessly drawing people into their sphere of influence. A person who, with the mere flash of a smile, can make hearts flutter and minds bend. This is no Hollywood heartthrob or charismatic politician. This is a psychopathic killer. These individuals often possess an uncanny charisma, a magnetic charm that pulls people in, blinding them to the darkness that lurks beneath the surface. This charisma, this charm, is more than just an interesting personality trait. It's a weapon, a tool used to manipulate and control. Let's take a journey back to the late 70s. Picture a man named Ted Bundy. On the surface, Bundy was an attractive, articulate law student. He was charismatic, charming, and seemingly kind-hearted, but beneath this facade was a monster. Bundy was a psychopathic killer who used his charm to lure his victims, unsuspecting young women, into his deadly trap. It's almost inconceivable, isn't it? How could someone so seemingly normal, so likable, be capable of such heinous acts? But that's the paradox of a psychopathic killer's charisma. It's disarming, it's disorienting, it's distracting. It allows them to blend into society, to bypass our defenses, and to get close enough to strike. This charm, this charisma, it's not genuine. It's a carefully crafted performance. A psychopathic killer doesn't feel the warmth, the empathy, the connection that we associate with charisma. For them, it's a means to an end, a way to achieve their sinister goals. And here's the most chilling part. This charisma often extends beyond their immediate victims. It influences law enforcement, the legal system, even the public's perception. It's one of the reasons why figures like Bundy continue to fascinate us even decades after their crimes. Their charm is their weapon, and their charisma, their shield. Imagine a world devoid of empathy, where the pain of others is but a mere spectacle. A chilling thought, isn't it? Yet, in the realm of psychopathic killers, it's a reality. A key characteristic that sets these individuals apart is their stark lack of empathy. Let's delve into this further with a case study. Aileen Wuornos, an infamous serial killer. She brutally murdered 7 men between 1989 and 1990, and her lack of remorse was staggering. When asked if she felt regret, Wuornos responded with a chilling, "I robbed them and I killed them as cold as ice, and I would do it again too." Her words echo the chilling indifference that is a hallmark of psychopathic killers. But what exactly is empathy? It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, to put oneself in their shoes, so to speak. Most of us can't help but feel a twinge of discomfort or sadness when we see someone else in pain. It's a natural human response, a social glue that binds us together as a species. Yet, in the mind of a psychopath, this emotional response is absent. They can witness suffering, even inflict it, without feeling any remorse or guilt. It's as if they're missing a crucial piece of the human emotional puzzle. This lack of empathy allows them to harm others without batting an eyelash. But it's not just their lack of empathy that's alarming. It's also their ability to mimic it. Psychopathic killers can feign sympathy and understanding, fooling those around them into believing they're just like everyone else. In reality, this is just another tool in their arsenal, another way to manipulate and control. So, what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? We need to understand that psychopaths don't view the world as we do. Their emotional landscape is starkly different, and empathy, a cornerstone of human interaction, is notably absent. In the psychopath's world, empathy is a foreign concept, a language they do not speak, and it's this lack of emotional understanding that often fuels their chilling actions. A puppet master in the theater of life, the psychopathic killer manipulates with ease and finesse. If there's one trait that sets psychopathic killers apart, it's their ability to manipulate those around them. Like maestros conducting a symphony, they skillfully play on the emotions and vulnerabilities of their victims, bending them to their will. Let's take a journey into the mind of one of history's most infamous manipulators, Charles Manson. Manson was not just a murderer. He was a puppeteer of minds, a weaver of illusions. He could make others dance to his tunes, leading them down a path of destruction. His followers, known as the Manson family, were so deeply under his influence that they committed horrific crimes at his behest. But how did Manson achieve this level of manipulation? It was a concoction of charisma, emotional exploitation, and psychological control. He preyed on individuals who were lost, vulnerable, and seeking a sense of belonging. He gave them what they yearned for, but at a terrible price. Manson's enthralling charisma and promises of love and acceptance were nothing but bait, luring his victims into a trap from which there was no escape. The world of the psychopathic killer is a chessboard, and they're always 2 steps ahead, planning their next move, ready to sacrifice a pawn if it means winning the game. They see people as tools, as means to an end, not as individuals with feelings and rights. They use deception and lies as their weapons, twisting reality to fit their narrative. But it's not just about control for these puppet masters. There's a twisted satisfaction they derive from the act of manipulation itself. They revel in the power they hold over others, the ability to shape perceptions and dictate actions. It's a game to them, and they're the ones holding all the cards. To a psychopath, manipulation is not just a tactic, it's an art form. They master this dark art with a chilling finesse that sends shivers down the spine. And it's this manipulative prowess that makes them one of the most dangerous predators in our society. For the psychopathic killer, the act of murder is not just a crime, but a source of perverse pleasure. The chilling reality of this statement brings us to the crux of our discussion: the thrill that psychopathic killers derive from their heinous acts. A convoluted cocktail of power, control, and exhilaration fuels their dark desires. It's a high, an adrenaline rush that they chase, an addiction that consumes them. And the only way to satiate this insatiable thirst? Through the act of killing. To illustrate, we delve into the case of Richard Ramirez, infamously known as the Night Stalker. Ramirez was a serial killer, rapist, and burglar who terrorized the residents of Los Angeles and San Francisco from June 1984 to August 1985. His crimes were gruesome, his methods chilling, but what stood out was his perverse pleasure in the terror he inflicted, the thrill he derived from the very act of killing. In his own words, he once said, "Serial killers do on a small scale what governments do on a large one. They are a product of the times, and these are bloodthirsty times." This chilling sentiment echoes the dark satisfaction that psychopathic killers like Ramirez find in their horrifying deeds. But why this thrill? Why this perverse pleasure? Experts suggest it's a complex interplay of their inability to feel empathy, their lack of remorse, and their innate desire for dominance. The act of killing provides them with a sense of omnipotence, a rush of control, the ultimate power trip, if you will. It's a chilling thought, isn't it? That for some, the act of taking a life, of snuffing out an existence, can be an exhilarating experience. It's a stark reminder of the dark depths to which the human mind can sink, of the twisted paths it can tread. In the twisted universe of a psychopath, the act of taking a life is akin to a thrilling joyride. It's a journey into the heart of darkness, a chilling exploration of the abyss of the human psyche, And it's a journey that we, as a society, must strive to understand, to prevent, and to ultimately put an end to. To the untrained eye, they appear as one among us, their true nature concealed behind a mask of sanity. This chilling reality is perhaps the most unnerving characteristic of psychopathic killers. They are not the monsters lurking in dark alleyways or the strangers offering candy to children. Instead, they are often right under our noses, blending seamlessly into society. Take Dennis Rader, for instance, known as the BTK killer, an acronym for his modus operandi: bind, torture, kill. Rader was a seemingly ordinary man. He was a husband, a father, a Boy Scout leader, and a church president. Yet, beneath this facade of normalcy, lurked a ruthless murderer. From 1974 to 1991, Rader took the lives of 10 innocent people in Wichita, Kansas. Much like Rader, numerous psychopathic killers throughout history have managed to keep their dark secrets hidden behind a veneer of respectability. They have held jobs, raised families, and participated in community activities, all the while concealing their true, sinister nature. Their ability to mimic normal human emotions and behaviors is nothing short of terrifying. It's this mask of sanity that allows them to evade detection, often for years or even decades. Imagine the horror of discovering that your friendly neighbor, the one who always waves hello and takes care of your plants when you're out of town, is a cold-blooded killer. That's the reality many people have faced when the mask finally slips, revealing the monster beneath. Psychopathic killers are not the other. They are not an external threat. They are among us, hidden in plain sight, their heinous acts concealed behind a facade of normalcy. It's a chilling thought, one that forces us to question our understanding of evil and its place in our society. The most horrifying aspect of a psychopath is not their brutality, but their ability to hide it. As we delve deeper into the minds of these killers, we'll continue to grapple with this disturbing reality. The mask of sanity is a terrifying tool, masterfully wielded by the psychopathic killer. The psychopath could be anyone, your neighbor, your colleague, even a family member. A chilling thought, isn't it? But it's a stark reality we can't ignore. Psychopaths aren't always the menacing figures we see in crime dramas. They're often hiding in plain sight, seamlessly blending into society. Identifying a psychopath in our day-to-day life is a daunting task. They don't come with a neon sign flashing "Beware." Instead, they wear a mask of normalcy, expertly mimicking emotions they can't feel, and demonstrating an eerie charm that draws people to them. Let's consider some real-life examples. Take Ted Bundy, a notorious serial killer from the 70s. He was a law student and an active participant in politics. Those around him saw him as a charming, well-educated individual with a bright future. But behind that facade, he was a monster who took the lives of at least 30 women. Or John Wayne Gacy, a successful business owner and a jovial party clown. Known as Pogo the Clown in his community, he was well-liked and respected. But beneath that cheerful exterior, Gacy was a brutal killer who claimed the lives of 33 young boys and men. Even closer to home, consider the case of Mary Beth Tinning, a seemingly devoted mother who, over a span of 14 years, caused the deaths of her 8 children. Her friends and neighbors saw her as a tragic figure, a mother cursed with ill-fated luck, never suspecting her true, sinister nature. These stories are not meant to instill fear, but to underline the complexity of psychopathy. The psychopath among us is not always the stranger in the dark alley. They might be the charismatic politician, the friendly clown, the grieving mother. They are masters of disguise, hiding their true selves behind a well-crafted persona. In the world of psychopaths, looks can be deceiving, and the person you least suspect might be the most dangerous of all. Venturing into the mind of a psychopath, we've unraveled chilling truths. We've explored the charismatic allure that often masks their dangerous intent, a charm that can draw us in, leaving us vulnerable to their manipulative tactics. We delved into their lack of empathy, a void that allows them to commit heinous acts without the slightest pang of remorse. We've navigated their manipulative minds, understanding how they twist reality to serve their own ends. We've touched on the thrill they derive from their gruesome acts, an adrenaline rush that fuels their dark desires. We've looked behind the mask of sanity, a deceptive facade that hides their true nature. Finally, we've realized how they blend into society, hidden in plain sight, their psychopathic tendencies unnoticed until it's too late. Remember, the psychopath walks among us, unseen, unknown, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Stay vigilant, stay safe, And never underestimate the power of understanding the human mind.